French fries are nearly a perfect food on the side, but this Canadian tradition turns it into arguably one of the best meals of all time. Okay, so today we are making poutine, or Poutine? Shout out to all the Canadian homies. Papa love you so much. Papa love everybody, but Papa love you right now especially. We're making this amazing dish. The traditional version is literally French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. It sounds like some sort of stoner's midnight dream, and it essentially is. With all that said, we're gonna make two versions, one traditional, one fancy. Let's make this, shall we?
Okay, there are three pieces here. First, we'll make the crispy, crunchy fries, then Mr. Traditional, and to end it all, a fancy boy version. For the fries, you're gonna need 2 pounds of russet potatoes. Peeling them is unnecessary. Then cut them into batons. To save myself time, I got this French fry cutter, which is quite extra, unnecessary, and also highly recommended. Link in description for that. Once you have your batons, cover those with cold water and soak for 20 minutes. I like to add a little ice to mine to help chill them. Then after soaking, drain the water out, then rinse and drain 3 more times until the water is clear. On their final drain, remove them and place them on towels until dry. Separately, in a heavy bottom pot, heat 2.5 inches of fry oil to 325 Fahrenheit, then fry your dry fries. That's a tongue twister, in batches for only 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want any color. Instead, you want them just cooked through, blistered and creamy looking. Drain your fries on a wire rack and repeat with the rest. Once all of your fries are par fried, turn the heat of your oil up so it reaches 355 Fahrenheit. Then again, fry in batches, this time only for about 1 to 3 minutes or until golden brown and nice and crispy. Remove them, season them with salt immediately and drain on a wire rack. Bada bing, bada boom, French fries. Now, hold on, one note. You're gonna wanna do that second fry there after you've made your gravy, so they don't get soft while you do all that. Anyway, speaking of making gravy, to do the traditional version, start with a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter in a medium saucepan, set that to medium heat, and once the butter is melted and bubbling, add 2 small shallots that have been minced, 3 cloves of minced garlic, let that saute for about a minute or till softened, then add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, stir that around and let that cook for about 2 minutes or until the roux begins to reach a nutty brown color. From there, you're gonna mix in 1/2 cup of a nice beer. This is a good old-fashioned Canadian beer, for the respect. Followed by 3 cups of beef stock and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Give that a stir and continue heating until thickened and beautifully glossy. Season that to taste with salt and pepper, and voila, a beautiful gravy. Make sure your beef stock is primo, because 80% of its flavor will come from that. You don't want to make Papa mad, do you? Now, at this point, you would do the second fry for your fries. Get yourself a plate, add your crispy hot fries, layer on some good old-fashioned proper cheese curds, hit it with a fat ladle of your hot gravy, and honestly a little sacrilegious, some thin sliced chives. Now, let us taste test.
Da banana, papajana, hamanana, a banana. Ho, ho, poutine, we have it right here. Now let's talk about crispiness really quick, not crispy. Fry them as crunchy as possible, serve immediately. The longer it sits, the soggier it gets. That's why all the poutines you get are soggy. Doesn't matter, let's talk about the taste. This is right. This is everything right in the world. It's perfect. It is literally perfect. This is a perfect poutine. The gravy's not too rich, it's just right. It's beefy, it's unctuous, it's got umami, and yet it also somehow cuts through the richness in a way. There's a certain level of acidity that just feels right. It's poutine, and it's gonna make me poo. A traditional poutine, great, but what about a fancy poutine?
Okay, next up is our poutine with mornay and fried salami, the fancy version. Start with a nice salami or sopressata, like a single link. I actually used a mix between sopressata and truffle salami. Now cut that into 1/2-inch cubes that are relatively even in size. Heat a medium-sized skillet over medium-high heat, coat the pan lightly with olive oil, then once that's nice and hot, add your salami and cook, tossing occasionally until crispy and lightly browned on all sides. About 4 minutes. Drain out the fat and set your crispy meat stuff to the side. Now for the mornay sauce, start by heating 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter over medium heat in a medium saucepan. Now, once that's melted, whisk in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Let that cook, whisking occasionally for 30 seconds. Then whisk in 3 cups of whole milk. Again, let that heat and cook, whisking occasionally until thickened, beautiful, and yummy. Then add 1.5 cups of fresh grated Gruyere cheese. Whisk that all together till smooth and glossy. Remove from the heat. Season to taste with salt. Hit it with 2 cloves of fresh grated garlic, a light grating of nutmeg, and finally some fresh ground black pepper. Give that a little taste, go to heaven, come back, and move on with the rest of the recipe. Now the last thing is our cheese curds. Instead of using a civilian room temp cheese curd, I thought it'd be a whole lot cooler to do a pan-fried scamorza. So get yourself a whole ball of skimorza, cut it in half, remove its waxy layer, then cut those halves in half so you get quarters. Then cut those quarters into 3/4 of an inch wedges so they look something like this. Now, heat up a medium-sized non-stick skillet over medium-high. Then once that's absolutely screaming hot, add in your skimorza in one layer and let that sear for about 1 minute or till nice and browned. Then quickly flip all the pieces and repeat on the other side. Try to avoid completely melting these, otherwise it gets really messy. Now transfer those to a plate or a quarter sheet tray and repeat with the rest of your skimorza to create brown, crispy, cheesy goodness. Now to assemble this, second fry your french fries. Get them nice and beautifully crispy so even your friends from across the country can hear the crunch. Then lay those in a nice bowl, top it with as many pieces of skimorza as your heart desires, hit it with a generous layer of your hot and creamy Mornay sauce, a nice handful of fried salami, a fatty grating of Parmigiano Reggiano, a handful of sliced chives, and finally garnish beautifully with some flat leaf Italian parsley because curly leaf is pure evil. Now that is a beautifully transformed poutine. Canadians, what do you think? I can tell you what we thought right here in this taste test.
Wow, I caught the wrong side. That's okay though. Pan-fried skimorza cheese, fried salami, fried soppressata, and you've got the fries and a garlic Mornay sauce. I was thinking about putting gochujang in the Mornay. Honestly, it's a little bit overkill, but
Bada bing, bada boom.
get some fry, sauce, and skimorza. Here we go. It's like 1,000 calories in one bite. Oh my God, my diet, please, dear God. For a second, I forgot both of you guys were there. Genuinely. That happened completely naturally. I don't know if I can ever go back to a normal poutine. Why isn't there more Mornay sauce poutine? Although it's rich, it plays really well with the French fries. There's still a little bit of sweetness from the bechamel, because bechamel isn't like super rich. Kind of got a sweetness from the milk. It all makes sense coming together. It just makes sense. TJ, I'd like you to enter the frame since you've had poutine before. Oh, now you tell me that I had poopy on my chin? How long has it been poopy on my chin, Vikram? I'm dead. OSHA violation.
Like the poutine that I ate years ago was really good. I remember it had bacon bits on it. This fried salami, that blows it out.
Salami lid. What the hell else do you want us to say? It's freaking good. If you've never had it before, you've never been to Canada, by the way, shout out to all my Canadian homies like Maddie Matheson. This one's for you.
You want to know what else rhymes with poutine and makes your eyes roll in the back of your head? B-roll.
Alright guys, and that is it. So we made our poutine. This was one of my most favorite executions of a recipe. It tasted like it should, the traditional version, and then that fancy version, it wasn't too much of a stray away from the heart and essence of this dish. There was obviously a more sophisticated flavor to it, and I was very happy with that. Now, I'm gonna take my shiny forehead and go make more food and stuff like that, I think. Anyway, with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you